that was a real game sometimes.
It wasn't even a
yeah,
real game.
Ganzi definitely experiencing some sort of lag issues. Hopefully that is cleared up this time around. But let's go ahead and get into the game. It's going to be on Daybreak as our first map. In the top right-hand position as the green Terran, we have Empire BeastyQT.
The winner of the NASL Season 3 pre-offline finals qualifier, Beasty, he's been training really hard at the Razor House, but now is back at home in Serbia. And NASL is one of his biggest priorities. He doesn't travel to LANs that often, as you didn't see him go to WCF's combined LAN or attend WCS Europe or even DreamHack. Ah, look at that. Ganzi already saying he's got crazy lag issues again. And this is his internet, really. He's been saying that he's been struggling a little bit. But
yeah, I mean, if you guys didn't catch it last time, when he played off in his last match, he was actually playing on the Korean server, and he still was experiencing lag. It was really unfortunate, I think, for Ganzi. He's been suffering this problem, and hopefully it doesn't go to affect him too much going into the season, but I'm sure it will affect him this series. Let's go ahead and check it out, though. BeastyQT looking like he wants to go for a gasless fast expansion, whereas we see Ganzi just displacing his barracks ever so slightly. It gives the idea that there could be some sort of proxy Marauder, proxy Reaper, something like that. Or if you're alive, you can even proxy the barracks and go for a proxy Reactor Hellion. So that's definitely a powerful thing.
Yeah, and this is a really clever placement because it makes Beasty think he's going for some kind of proxy Marauder or proxy Factory, and I don't think that Ganzi's going to place it anywhere near. I think he's just using the barracks to fake him out, yeah. And when he's able to do that, it's going to force a strong reaction, maybe even force BC to place a couple extra bunkers.
Yeah, there it is. Immediately. Normally, this is not the standard. You go the command center, then the supply depot, then a single depot directly after that. But BeastyQT forced to change everything just because of the range of his opponent. He's reading, okay, Ganzi probably is going something like a a Marauder opening in this beginning stage. It's very common on Daybreak, actually, where in fact he is not. Of course, just displacing this barracks over here has done so much economic damage to BeastyQT that he is suffering a little bit in this beginning stage.
Well, Beasty is just going to expand the high ground. Love that choice. Don't get too greedy. Just feeling like you have to place it at your mineral lines. Of course, Beasty scouted the factory inside his base, so he knows the entire fake as well. Good follow-up scout. A lot of players aren't able to really be clever enough to get that follow-up scout, and as a result, play in the dark and play a little bit too safe. And Beasty, as a result, can scale back his conservatism and able to play a little bit more greedy at this point because he knows what's coming.
Yeah, it is going to be Banshee tech after all. The other alternative could have been Marine Hellion drop. That's definitely a very powerful thing to do, but on Daybreak it's a little bit tougher. The main reason for that is you want to elevate your units onto the high ground. So if you elevate your Marines over here, then you have to elevate your Hellions, but this is a hard position to actually cover. You don't want to do it over here because that's a long elevator distance, so it's really kind of different for Daybreak. That's why he kind of goes back to that Banshee pressure.
Yep. And this is a one gas Banshee expand, so he's not going to get cloak whatsoever. Just going to be able to pressure slightly and hopefully control the map significantly while you scout your opponent's tech. And what will we see in response to Beasty? Because when we saw 4GG do this kind of build, the way Tasia responded was to drop a third command center and say, I'm going to be really safe, get my engineering bay even a little bit before the 6-minute mark, be safe positionally, and then get really far ahead macro-wise. And with Tasia's ability to multitask and macro, was able to overrun his opponent. I'm wondering what Beasty's going to do in this case.
BC looks like he's just going to go ahead and tech up to Vikings from here on out. He does read that his opponent could be doing that 1-1-1, which is the Marine Hellion drop. That's why this bunker is placed over here. It also helps against cloakless Banshees. Of course, it's going to zone this entire area right here, so the Banshee might have to take an extra little trip around this bunker. But it's pretty negligible. In the corner over here, a missile turret going down, but you can see the Banshee is actually going towards the natural, looking to take out potential mules, potential SCVs over here established.
This is really clever by Ganzi as well. Just using his Banshee to, first of all, shut down any quick third attempt. As you can see, Ganzi's going for his own fast third command center. And he's going to use his Banshee really just to pin his opponent and make him feel like he has the ability to follow with huge aggression. And as a result, he's going to be ahead in workers. That's actually really cool to see this kind of opening be able to get ahead economically.
Absolutely. He is going for bio, which is something that we don't really see as much anymore, especially on Daybreak. I think a lot of people prefer something like those Hellions, which are just so mobile on Daybreak, right? You can get into the third base, you can get into the natural, you can easily take your fourth base, and any pushes are pretty long just because of the map. Daybreak is a very long map. But that being said, both these players looking like, well, BeastyQT can still go mech, but for sure we're going to see a bio play coming out of Ganzi over here, as he is upgrading stim as we speak. But this single Viking going to be able to take out this Banshee, or at least shove it away, and that will give BeastyQT the room to go ahead, drop those mules, and start mining efficiently from this one expansion.
Yeah, but Beasty doesn't know about this third command center at all, because of the map control that the Banshee offers him. So Beasty playing very much in the dark, and now starts to poke out a little bit to see if he can control his powers, but he sees this many Hellions. That also makes Beasty think he's going to go for mech, when reality is he's going to follow it with Marine tank, or at least stay on bio, like you said, for a while. And this is, again, very good mind games from Ganzi to get more and more ahead.
Yeah, BeastyQT has really suffered a lot of damage just by defending. He's been overly defending, I think, all these different pushes. And really, Ganzi is doing this half-hearted pressure. Obviously, we know that because he doesn't want to lose units. As soon as he loses units, he is kind of vulnerable to some sort of push. Obviously, he's getting the third command center, not getting some sort of production facility. And that is going to significantly hamper his ability to produce. Oh, Hellions from the right side.
The drop's also in the natural with another Banshee. A huge Hellion tap. All the SCVs are clumping up. Oh, man. Great zone defense from Beasty, but still pretty significant damage in comparison to his opponent. 39 SCVs to 46 currently, and especially with a third orbital command center. That is a huge difference, Andre.
Yeah, look at that. The mineral income is just about double of his opponent. BeastyQT really searching for answers at this point. He's been harassed all over the place, and he's only on 2 bases. He doesn't know a lot of what's going on the map. He's really been shut out completely. Yeah. And through that, Ganzi's been able to take a pretty sizable advantage. Oh, wow. No scan is going to actually reveal that close Banshee, but look at this, getting the tech lab with combat shields. That's actually pretty big, Frodan.
Yeah, that just stalls him for a significant amount of time. Got to rebuild the tech lab, got to restart combat shield. And so Ganzi does lose that upgrade, and Beasty is now pushing out. Beasty does have 2 more factories planting down as well, going to really start leaning heavily towards mech units. And Beasty does play a very good mean positional game, especially in TVT. Beasty's one of those players also not afraid to just sit back. If I remember watching his games at the Gigabyte LAN, he played this 1.5-hour game with Hawaii Rice, where he just kind of sat back and said, sure, I'll build the whole planetary, sit back, and be able to play this whole game.
Ganzi.
That's a good win for him.
Yeah, that's a really big win for him. And more importantly, there is no combat shield on the really researching at all. Remember, he took it out over here on the right-hand side. And that being said, it really empowers the siege tanks, but a stim is going to actually surprise BeastyQT so much here. He's going to lose all of his Marines. That's the tanking units, and now they're just going to shove in and start killing the siege tanks. Absolutely glorious play coming out from Ganzi.
And the SCVs trapped the tank from being able to do anything. And wow, there's even a scan just in case the Banshee was there. And Ganzi actually sent his SCVs to make sure that he could trade off efficiently, but he not only saved the SCV count, he's up by 23, 24 workers, Andre.
Yeah.
That's so big. Already at 70 compared to 45. Beasty lost a huge part of his core mech army as well. He has to play super defensive from this point. I can understand the time that he was trying to go for, but he did not know about this third base. Still doesn't. I think, in fact, he might think his opponent's taking his third base now, but Ganzi's been mining from it for such a long time, and he's been getting gas as a big priority, Andre, so his tech is so further along developed than his opponent.
BeastyQT should know, though, that this build is within Ganzi's range. I mean, based on what he's seen so far, really hasn't seen a lot of gas. When you don't see a lot of gas in your opponent's army, you're saying, well, they weren't managing off of a lot of gas in the beginning. I probably need to be careful because there is some sort of potential proxy expansion, or at least really fast expansion. So I think BeastyQT should kind of expect this to be here. Maybe not for that long, because as you can see, the mineral fields have been mining for quite a long time. For those of you that don't know, it's around 80 minerals per minute that a single mine actually gets mined. So, yeah, no, just like of it being there. A single patch. Around 80 minerals when it's with a, what's it called?
SCV or a mule?
A mule. When it's with a mule, it's about 10 to 20 more, so it's around 100. So you can see he's had it for quite a long time if you look at just all the mules. But nice job with this Hellion Harass over here.
2 fresh hits, so that's a nice win. In fact, shredding the working count to be able to close the gap is very nice job. And these Hellions are very cost efficient. Might be able to snipe some Marines as well. Regardless of what happens, this is exactly what Beasty needed.
And you know what? Ganzi is actually digging himself a hole because do we see Combat Shield yet? No. Again, Combat Shield is like the most forgotten about upgrade. Besides
so
+2 building armor.
You feel like you would remember it because it does put a change on the Marines. They get this big shield all of a sudden. And you're like, oh yeah, but people do forget it. I forget it all the time.
It's crazy,
if it ever gets sniped. Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. Well, we do see a pretty sizable army coming in here from Ganzi, but what can he really do with it? You have to travel so far over. And Daybreak does lend itself to a very nice defensive position. So what he could do is set up a contain, but look at this. Once you move out with this army, it actually sets you up to be counterattacked pretty easily. He's going to lose even more SCVs over here at the third base, which does not help. Losing SCVs is not a good way to actually win a game, Frodan.
It's not, but at the same time, will Beasty be able to defend his third? He's a little bit out of position considering how many units are here. Whoa, Ganzi's going to go for immediate lift, but there are a few Vikings waiting for him, Andre. The Metavac's going to try to drop the Marines, and the tanks don't even take damage from it. Great defense from Beasty thus far. A scan as well to be able to get more tactical sight, but Beasty is not able to, or sorry, Ganzi's not able really to break this position. A fantastic defense from Empire Beasty. And
you know what? The Combat Shield's really affected in that last attack. I mean, I think Ganzi actually realized it then and started actually getting that Combat Shield. That's such a critical blow. You need that extra HP, else you're just going to take too much damage from the AoE. It's such an unfortunate turn of events, but Ganzi, just like that, is in kind of a tougher position. He's not in a losing position by any means. It's obviously his fourth base is up. His third base has been mining for quite a long time, so he has that extra surge. He has the upgrade advantage. He has air superiority, as you can see from the Vikings. So that's going to really lend those drops that we just saw be a little bit more effective, but still, BeastyQT, I mean, he has the better army composition. That needs to be said. And when you have the better army composition, there's a lot you can do to get your opponent out of position and obviously yield great returns on your investments.
One thing you notice also, Ganzi has the air superiority, but would that even matter? A massive stim from Ganzi, but it has to kind of fall back because there's too many tanks from Beasty. Also, the Vikings flying to the fourth of Beasty, and Ganzi's, I guess he's going to harass and land them eventually? Or he really wants to keep a worker count?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure he will. He's just trying to take care of this individual push right here. The fourth base is gone. The third base needs to be reinforced over here. And I don't think that his opponent really has any capabilities of doing that. Ganzi is actually going for the counterattack, which I don't mind at all, just evening things up. But look at this. He's going to lift up everything. That's going to be really, really nice. I think BeastyQT actually sees this. Yes, he does. He needs to defend against this as best as possible. Those SCVs are actually going to go to the high ground. They should probably tank a little bit, but he has really good siege tanks. Thors pop out at the perfect time. Will it be enough?
The perfect time or the anti-perfect time that they're moving down the ramp, but the siege tanks is doing a lot of damage onto the clumped up bio. Meanwhile, Beasty's still pushing to the third of Ganzi. Ganzi has almost all his SCVs there as well. He has to evacuate. And just like that, both players are on reduced amount of economy. Beasty managed to stabilize back at home for now. How will Ganzi be able to take on this tank force? The spread from Beasty is so large. He's got 18 tanks.
There is a doom drop. There is a doom drop over here. 4 medevacs filled of units. And let me tell you, Frodan, there's not a lot of stuff on the ground, and now he's going to be blindsided with this positioning. It's very unfortunate for BeastyQT, but how does he actually defend it? It's dropping directly on top of the first tank. And it looks like there's just not a lot of stuff here, but I don't know, Frodan. Marines and Marauders with 4 medevacs is pretty effective. They can do a lot of damage against units that are just trickling out of factories.
Yeah, he's trying to snipe some add-ons as well, but Beasty in the meantime is going to go for the base trade anyways.
No.
A huge pack of Marauders are ready to meet them, though. Beasty attacking up the ramp, calls GG. He was a little bit too slow to move in, giving Ganzi just enough time to initiate the base trade. What a crazy sequence of decision-making, Andre. Can we break down a little bit of what just happened?
You know, it was really back and forth. I felt like BeastyQT had an advantage, and then Ganzi really made the plays to actually get him back in the game. A lot of people would actually say, I need to confront the siege tanks over at my base, but that was the timing to actually do something. You just killed a lot of siege tanks at your opponent's base. You just killed a lot of Thors at your opponent's base. The 4 medevac drop was the critical turning point, and that was also the end of the game because it just gives you such a decisive advantage. If you can get up into that that factory area, the production area, you've basically destroyed a meching Terran because they don't really have that much substance when they pop out one at a time.
I love the decision of Ganzi just to sack his expansion mining for now and say, I'll focus on this layer. My big priorities is disable his economy, disable his reinforcement, make sure more tanks, no more tanks, no more Hellions, no more Thors can get in position, and make sure that he is wide open while I'm defended. He gets 3 tanks back at home, masses more bio, protects the important area, that ramp that leads from the 3rd and from the 4th base. Very well protected by Ganzi. I
do want to say that was a razor thin, though. That was a razor thin win for
it really
Ganzi.
Swung the other way.
It could have. If BeastyQT actually went all the way back with all of his siege tanks, just killed the SCVs, let the 3rd live, and just stabilize, he would have been way, way ahead economically. That would have been a much different result. But how it stands, Ganzi will take the first game.
That game number 1 was brought to you by Epson, a number 1 projector brand worldwide. Pick up your own Epson projector at epson.com. We'll be back with game number 2 between BeastyQT and Ganzi. We'll find out what happens in this TVT when we return.